If you want to speak English fluently for 1 minute or more, you should watch this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel English Learning Academy. Today we want to complete 15 the most useful topics for speaking. As you know, we had 6 of them in this video and now we want to cover it. So, in this lesson we have 2 parts and 2 people speak about each one. At first, we want to listen one by one, and then we want to learn more about it. So, time is money. Let's start. Part 1. Hopes and plans.
I'm going to study Spanish in Spain this summer. I'm going to live with a Spanish family, so I'll have to speak Spanish all the time. I'm kind of nervous, but really excited. I hope to make lots of new friends and improve my Spanish.
In this part, we had I'm kind of nervous. It means I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit anxious. For example, I'm kind of nervous for this exam. And the other one is make friend. It means to start a friendly relationship or to become friends with someone. For example, the child tried to make friends with the dog.
Actually, I don't have big plans for the summer. I'll probably just hang around at home and play video games and sleep a lot. I'm always studying during the school year, and I had a job last summer. So it'll be nice to just relax and take it easy for a change.
In this part, we had hang around with someone or something. It means to spend time with someone or something. For example, I got into drugs because I was hanging around with wrong people. Take it easy for a change. It means to be relaxed and not do too much. For example, hey, why don't you take it easy for a change? Next part is direction.
My apartment building is near the river. When you come out of the subway, walk towards the river and you'll see an intersection. Go through the intersection and take the first street on the left. Go down the street until you see a supermarket. My house is right next to it. If you can, could you bring some fruit to go with dinner?
Go with something. If one thing go with another, they suit each other or they look or taste good together. For example, I'm not sure that those shoes really go with that dress. I'm not sure that those shoes really go with that dress.
I live in an apartment building close to the high school. Get off the bus across from the school and walk north for about 4 blocks. You'll see a gas station on your left. Turn right just past the gas station and go down the street until you see a church. My building is across from the church. Don't forget to bring your tennis racket.
Get off the bus. We get off public transportation, but get out of the car. It's about personal car. For example, get off the bus at the next stop. Get off the bus at the next stop. And get out of the car after you drive. Next part, places.
New York has great museums, and so does Washington. But Washington feels more serious because the government is there. So it isn't as exciting as New York. Washington is more beautiful for sure, and the restaurants are cheaper there. But you know, I love theater, and New York is the best. Washington is okay, but I love New York.
Los Angeles is a huge place. You need a car to get around. San Francisco is more beautiful and it's a great place for a weekend, but I get bored there after a few days. I enjoy the fact that in Los Angeles everything moves really fast. I love living here.
In this part, we had huge. Huge means very, very big, very, very large in size or amount. For example, they live in a huge house. The next one in this part was get around. Get around means to move from one place to another. For example, you need a car to get around town. Roommate.
I like sharing a room with Greg. He's very quiet and always asks me if it's okay for him to listen to the radio or watch TV. He likes to keep the room nice and clean, just like I do. He helps me a lot with homework, too. He's really smart and is always happy to check over my assignments.
Assignment. A piece of work given to someone. For example, I have a lot of reading assignments to complete before the end of the term.
Anne is difficult to live with because she has very strong opinions. She always has to be right about things. And she just sits around all day watching TV. She never does anything active. The worst thing is she loses her temper very quickly. I think I need to find a new roommate.
Lose someone's temper. To suddenly become angry. For example, the children behaved badly, so I lost my temper. Next part, travel.
I met this really nice family when I was in Korea last year. I was in a restaurant, and I was having trouble understanding the menu. The wife came over and asked me what I wanted to eat, and told me all about Korean food. Then they asked me to join them at their table, and they paid for my dinner. They also invited me to their house. We became friends, and we keep in touch now by email. They'll take me to a famous temple the next time I go back. Isn't that fabulous? I can't wait to see that temple.
Keep in touch. It means continue to communicate with someone by using a phone or writing to them. For example, are you still in touch with any of old school friends? Fabulous. Very good. Excellent. For example, we had a fabulous time at a party.
Once when I was in Italy, I took a bus trip from Rome to Florence. The bus was very crowded, and I had to stand most of the way. I had a couple of small bags with me. One was a backpack that had my wallet in it. I kept it in front of me for the entire trip, but when I got to Florence, I couldn't believe what had happened. Someone had cut a hole in my backpack, put in their hand, and removed my wallet. Then they took the money out and put the wallet back inside my backpack. I never noticed a thing. It really ruined my vacation because I couldn't pay to get into any museums. So now I want to go back again next summer and see all the museums I missed.
Crowd means full of people. For example, a crowd of 15,000 attended the concert. Notice, to see or become conscious of something or someone. For example, Mary waved at the man, but he didn't seem to notice. Ruin means damage or spoil. For example, the bad weather ruined the party. Next part, traffic.
Traffic was a real problem around here. It moved so slowly. Last year, the government turned a bunch of streets downtown into one-way streets. This helped the traffic move more quickly. Special lanes on roads just for buses were built at the same time. If you're caught driving your car in a bus lane, you have to pay a fine, and it's a really high fine. Also, they passed a law last year that says you can only drive your car downtown 3 days a week. You have to display a special pass in your car that says which days you're allowed to drive downtown.
Fine, an amount of money that has to be paid as a punishment for not obeying a rule or law.
Air pollution in our city was a huge problem, and we really needed to lower it. I guess that's why the government started putting special bicycle lanes on the streets downtown. That way, people can ride their bikes to work instead of using their stinky cars. They also made a rule that says there must be at least 2 people in your car if you want to drive downtown during the week. They also ordered these amazing new pollution-free buses. They use electricity, so they don't put anything bad into the air.
Stinky. Having or producing an unpleasant smell. For example, I ate stinky cheese for my breakfast. The next one is hobby.
I like collecting things. I collected baseball cards when I was a kid, but I don't anymore. These days, baseball card collectors are only interested in money. I wanted to collect things that are really beautiful, so that's why I started collecting stamps. Some of the stamps I have are really, really beautiful. I think they're like paintings. What I like best is looking at my collection. It's like walking through a tiny museum full of wonderful paintings.
I live in a big city, so I love being around lots of people. My brother is completely the opposite. Last weekend, he took me to the country to go bird watching. I was so bored the whole time. I like talking to people and doing creative things. I'd just love to get all my friends together at my apartment in the city and do something. We could have a dinner party maybe. Or we could bring over some guitars and drums and stuff like that and sing and dance.
The next topic is fear.
I was always afraid of the water as a kid. I would never go into the pool or swim at the beach. I was sure I would drown. Then I took swimming lessons in high school. Once I learned how to swim, I felt different. Now I love the water, and especially the beach. I feel totally safe because now I know how to take care of myself in the water.
Drown. To die by being unable to breathe underwater. For example, he drowned in a boating accident.
I don't really like driving on the freeway. I guess it's because the traffic moves so fast. I didn't used to be so nervous. I used to travel all over using the freeways. But one day, I was in a car accident and I lost all my confidence. So nowadays, I only use the freeway when it's really necessary.
And the last topic, shopping problems.
I bought lots of cheap clothes when I was on vacation last summer. Things were about half the price of the same things here. The clothes looked well made, so I spent a lot of money, but I've had problems with almost everything I bought. Some shrank as soon as I washed them, and the colours have faded on the rest. Next time, I'll save my money and wait for the sales at home.
Shrank is the past tense of shrink. It means to become smaller or make something smaller. Your sweater will shrink if you watch it at too high temperature. Fade means lose color. For example, if you hang out your clothes in a bright sun, they will fade.
I needed a new camera last month, so I bought one from a store in the mall. I paid $248 for it, and it's a really good camera. It takes beautiful pictures. A few days ago, though, I found exactly the same camera online for only $195. I was really annoyed, but I guess there's nothing much I can do about it. Next time, I will spend more time comparing prices before I buy something.